Before we start today's episode, I want you to think about something. Imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table and the mortgage is due. The electric bill is higher than it was last year. Groceries cost more than they did a few years ago. Gas is still eating into your paycheck. You look at your retirement account. You look at the national debt. You look at the price of everything around you. And then you turn on the television. Another war, another conflict, another emergency. Another reason America needs to spend billions of dollars overseas. And maybe, just maybe, you ask a question that Washington hates. Why is there always money for war, but never enough money to fix the problems here at home? Why can Congress move mountains in a matter of hours when another country is involved, but somehow moves at a snail's pace when Americans need help? And perhaps the biggest question of all, how many times are ordinary Americans expected to pay for decisions they never made? Because that's exactly what we're talking about today. The Iran war, the promises, the cost, the consequences. And one simple question, what did America actually gain?
I'm exiled to the greener grass, searching for the uncertain haze.
Welcome back to Chom's Talks. I'm Choms, and this is a place where we discuss facts and opinions. Facts help us understand what's happening. The opinions help us understand what it means. And today, we're talking about the Iran war, not from the perspective of Washington, not from the perspective of defense contractors, not from the perspective of foreign governments, but from the perspective of the American people. Because at the end of the day, that's who pays for these decisions, and that's who should matter the most. Let's start by separating facts from opinions. Fact: American forces became directly involved in a major conflict with Iran. American taxpayers have spent tens of billions of dollars on the conflict. Fact: American troops were killed and wounded. In fact, global energy markets were disrupted. Fact: the conflict created economic consequences that reached ordinary Americans. Those are facts. Now here's the opinion. My opinion is that before America commits blood and treasure to another war, the American people deserve a clear answer to one question. How does this make our lives better? Not theoretically, not someday, right now. How did we get here? Americans were told Iran represented a major threat. Americans were told military action was necessary. We were told strong action would produce results. Now, maybe some of that was true, maybe some of it wasn't. But conservatives should have learned something from Iraq. We should have learned something from Afghanistan. Government officials are often very good at selling wars. They're not nearly as good at explaining what happens after the war starts. And somehow the answer is always the same. Spend more money, stay longer. Spend more resources, accept more risk, ask fewer questions. So what's the cost to the American people? This is the part Washington never likes discussing, the bill. Because somebody always pays. And it isn't the people making the decisions, it's the people working overtime to afford groceries. It's the retirees trying to stretch Social Security checks. It's small business owners trying to make payroll. Truck drivers paying more for fuel. It's families already struggling with inflation. Every dollar spent overseas is a dollar that cannot be spent somewhere else. And conservatives used to understand this. We used to believe money didn't grow on trees. We used to believe debt mattered. We used to believe government should live within its means. Apparently, that principle disappears whenever another foreign conflict begins. Now, let's make something clear. Questioning a war is not criticizing the troops. The troops did their job. The military did its job. The pilots did their job. The Marines did their job. The soldiers did their job. The question is whether the politicians did theirs. Because if you ask Americans to fight, there should be a clear objective. there should be a clear plan. There should be a clear definition of victory. There should be a clear explanation for why American families are being asked to sacrifice. Those aren't reasonable questions. They're the bare minimum questions a free people should ask. Now comes the uncomfortable part. The part where emotions are set aside and results matter. If the objective was to weaken parts of Iran's military capability, supporters of the war can point to evidence that significant damage was done. Fair enough, but if the objective was to permanently solve the Iran problem, that's much harder to argue. Iran still exists. Its government still exists. Its influence still exists. Many of the same geopolitical problems still exist, and that's where conservatives should stop and think. Because success isn't measured by how many bombs were dropped. Success is measured by whether the mission achieved its goals. And honestly, from what we have seen of the MOU, or what we have heard, I should say, of the MOU, it honestly looks like Iran is coming out with a better deal. So was it really a success? The America First question, and this is where I probably differ from a lot of people in Washington. I don't wake up every morning worried about what is best for every government on earth. I worry about what is best for Americans. I worry about veterans. I worry about workers, about the taxpayers, about families trying to buy a home. I worry about young people like my children who are inheriting a mountain of debt. The federal government has one primary responsibility: protect the American people. That's it. Everything else comes second. And somewhere along the way, our leaders started acting like America was responsible for solving every problem in the world. We're not. We can't. And history has repeatedly shown us that trying often creates new problems while we're failing to solve the old ones. The lesson of the Iran war may not be that military force never works. The lesson may be that military force has limits. You can destroy equipment. You can destroy infrastructure. You can win battles, but political problems are not always solved with bombs. America has spent decades learning that lesson, and yet Washington keeps acting surprised when it happens again. The same experts, the same promises, the same predictions, the same bill. Here's my opinion. America should have the strongest military on earth. No close second. We should be able to defend ourselves against any threat. We should support our troops. We should protect our interests. But strength is not measured by how many wars we enter. Strength is measured by knowing when to use power and when not to. Strength is measured by putting our citizens first. Strength is measured by protecting our country before trying to fix someone else's. And that's the question I leave you with today. After all the money spent, after all the lives lost, after all the headlines, after all the promises, did America become stronger? Or did Washington simply get involved in another war while ordinary Americans were left paying the price? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm Choms, and this has been Choms Talks. And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.